Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Mind of Marie. Today is a solo episode again. Today, we're going to talk about sapiodemisexuality, the battle bond, and the sovereign choice to walk alone. You know, a lot of people approach me about this. They ask why you're single, they ask why you're voluntarily celibate, as if it's a puzzle they can solve with a dating app or a night out. But what they don't understand is that for some of us, intimacy isn't a casual hobby, it's sacred currency. For me, it's been nearly 7 years since I have been romantic or intimate with anyone. And when you reach that milestone, you stop looking for the one and you start looking at the data set. The data tells me that the frequency I operate on, the frequency of the sapio-demisexual, is a ghost signal in a world dominated by the superficial, the limerent, and the disposable. So, today we're going to talk about what it means to manifest exactly what you wanted, only to realize that what you wanted doesn't have the capacity to want you back. We're talking about the difference between battle bonds and blood covenants, and why saying it's not my loss is the most honest thing that a woman can ever say. So let's break down the terminology because people love to treat these as labels instead of mechanical requirements. To be a sapio-demisexual is to have an orientation where the pilot light of attraction doesn't even flicker without a profound intellectual and emotional resonance first. It's not playing hard to get. It's a biological and psychological reality where hookup culture feels like a foreign language. When your attraction is rooted in the mind and the soul, the dating pool becomes a desert. You aren't looking for a vibe, you're looking for a mirror. You're looking for someone who sees your heroic God status and matches it. But here's the trap. When you find that intellectual match, when you manifest the archetype, you assume the romantic alignment will be a given. You assume that because you speak the same language that you're reading the same book. But sometimes the other person, they're just using your light to read a different story entirely. And that doesn't mean to say that you don't truly have a connection. It's just not reciprocal. So, let's turn our attentions a little bit here. I want to talk about battle bonds. Some of us have stood in the streets. Some of us have been arrested for causes that matter. No just cause for the handcuffs, but a righteous cause for the heart. In those moments, you forge bonds. It's kind of like the battle buddy dynamic you see between soldiers. You've seen each other at your most vulnerable and your most defiant, your lowest and yet your most emboldened moments. It feels like a blood covenant in that way. It's definitely part of your destiny. But a battle bond is a horizontal connection. It's a standing shoulder to shoulder solidarity against an external common enemy. It's a shared trauma, a shared victory, a shared jail space. But it's not a romantic foundation, so let's not confuse it. A blood covenant, however, is vertical, it's soul to soul. It requires a level of emotional maturity that many warriors simply do not possess. You can be brave in the face of the state, but a coward in the face of a woman's depth, and a coward in the face of connection that is so deep it makes the ocean pale by comparison. And when you realize that someone that you have stood in battle with is the same person who is obsessed with a limerent fantasy, the ghost of the past, or perhaps the potential of many options, you realize that battle bonds are a moment in time, but they do not completely outfit the cards that you have been dealt. So then comes that moment where you start to have to really look inside and do your processing. The moment when you have already realized that the other person is saying to you, "You're amazing, but I don't want you." And that one hurts bad, guys. So, in a way, you get a bruise to your ego. You see that having certain types of bonds and connections with people, though the potential may be able to be there, does not mean that they will always turn out that way. That just because you have a battle buddy who cares for you, who respects the intellectual fuel of hours long conversations and deeply activated moments, that does not mean that that person wants the responsibility of a romantic relationship and a partnership with you. So when someone tells you that you're amazing while simultaneously rejecting you, they're doing that because they still want to keep you in their life in some capacity, but they do not have the ability to hold your heart the way that you deserve. And so they don't want to discard what they know is a great heart, but they also know that they are not the one who is capable of cherishing it the way that it should be. So they want you to stay in their orbit, not because they love you, but because they've seen the value of who you are and how much that can do in their life. That's not to say that it's always malicious or that it's a, a hidden agenda, but these are the realities of when a person recognizes another person's greatness and yet does not have the capacity to hold them. And so that's the moment when you need to come through with the truth. And you need to pay attention to what actions show you, because they will always speak louder than any words. Remember, people can say many a thing, but the way that they respond and they react to situations is far more revealing 9 times out of 10 than anything that could ever come out of their mouths. And so this is the moment when you step back into your power, where you realize just because you wanted something doesn't mean that you need it. Just because you developed a short infatuation doesn't mean that it owns you by the balls. It's simply a matter of what you set your mind to be. And so you must realize in that moment, who actually owns the heroic narrative in your mind? Is it the person who you thought would be exactly everything you wanted? In fact, no, could be. Or is it yourself? Never give up your own destiny and allow someone else to drive the fate of your life. Always stay the driver in the front seat behind the wheel of your own vehicle. And always remember, if you know who you are, you know what you want, and you love yourself, it's never your loss. And mean that. Because when someone is offering a lifelong, monogamous, deep soul connection, the highest offer that could be placed on the table, and another person doesn't want it, and they walk away, you need to understand that that was a choice. Do not allow that price to sit there on the table waiting, collecting dust. Pick up your heart, cherish it, keep it protected until the person that actually wants to come to the table and pick it up and bring it inside and hold it close in an embrace that they can never let go finally shows up to tell you that you're not just amazing, you're everything they ever wanted. Until next time, remember, the mind is the most important story that we'll ever tell. This is the Mind of Marie. Have a great night.